guys, today is Saturday. We hope everyone's day is off to an amazing start. Thanks so much for stopping in today, guys. Not sure if you can see our backdrop, but we are actually here in Florida. We made it, guys. This is going to be actually the first video of a series of videos that we are bringing to you guys here from Orlando, Margaritaville. You guys know I've been talking about this, maybe a couple of weeks now, that Chase is actually here for the Disney College program for this summer. He is in. I'm not going to go into all the details about it because, like I said, I do have some videos coming up where I will chronicle more of what we're doing around that. But for today's video, guys, with us being here in Florida,
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. There's so many political themes and stories kind of swirling around. So we wanted to just take a cute little minute to kind of discuss it because, you know, here on the Unfrumpy Mommy Life
we don't shy away from topics. We
talk about everything. We talk about everything. So first topic at hand. Now, those of you in Georgia and some of the other surrounding states, I'm not sure how interested you're going to be in today's topic.
Well, this one has made national news, though.
It actually has. And let me also say, guys, it is 79 degrees.
It's hotter than 79, I know.
But it feels like 97.
It's Florida 79, yeah. So add 20 to that. So the air conditioner is on. I'm sorry. It's going to have to be on. So please excuse the AC noise. But yeah, so this is actually national news, our first topic. But if you are into politics, you don't have to be heavily into politics. No, this one's pretty
straightforward. But if you just like to keep abreast of what is going on in the contiguous U.S., this may actually interest you.
We don't always do pop culture.
That's true.
This is a hard-hitting issue. So this first issue, so the first issue, I'm going to come on the side of Disney. So both of these topics involve Disney.
All right.
On the first issue, I'm going to be pro-Disney. So there's an ongoing battle between the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and Disney. And so probably a year ago or so, Ron DeSantis is a conservative governor. He's running for president. He's going to run for the Republican nomination against Trump.
Well, because you know what? Since we're wearing orange and green, who did he beat out?
He beat out, what was his name? He went to FAMU. He was the SGA president. I'm having a brain freeze.
You know what? I'm having a brain freeze too.
But he barely beat.
You know what? You go ahead and talk.
It was
and
like,
I'll do some research.
He beat him by like a few thousand votes. So make sure you vote. I don't care what people say. Make sure you vote. But anyway, he's a conservative guy. And so about a year or so ago, he issued a bill in Florida called Don't Say Gay. And that bill basically, and I'm not gonna get into the deep specifics of the bill. I'll let all of you Google it if you're not familiar with it. And you know, whatever side of that bill you're on is fine, right? But go ahead and Google it. But basically,
Andrew Gillum. Drop down, leave a comment
there was a
if you know what the controversy was surrounding Andrew Gillum.
We're definitely not gonna get it. Now we won't.
We're not talking about that. But it was a big controversy. But
he barely lost.
It was such a tragedy. Such a tragedy because he lost by this much. Yeah, by this much he lost. Doggone shame. But anyway.
Yeah. So once you look at the bill, it's basically about teaching sexual education and gender affirming education in like lower elementary school. But here's what's interesting about this topic. It really doesn't matter what you think about the bill. The issue is that Disney, and at this time the CEO was Bob Chapek, after some pressure, Bob Chapek said, hey, you know, we don't really support the bill. We're very pro LGBTQ, you know, IA plus. And so Disney, as you would expect Disney to do.
One time down in the comments for Eric ignoring all the letters.
So he's very Bob Chapek eventually, after some pressure, had to come on the left side of the issue. So what's interesting is it's not really it is about that issue, but what happened is when Bob Chapek and Disney came out against the bill, DeSantis basically started punishing Disney. Disney is its own city. So here in Florida, when Walt Disney set up Disney, Reedy Creek, because of what happened in California when he set up Disney in the 50s, it got real crowded and congested, and they put up all these cheap hotels.
So if you know anything about Disney in California, it's basically on the streets.
Yeah, it's on the street. Like you drive by, you can see it. It's not enclosed. So
this Disney is self-contained.
It's a city. Yeah, and you have to, it's a city within itself, and you have to drive for like a mile before you even see any Disney stuff once you get inside of Reedy Creek. So Walt Disney did it that way so he could control the city, control how it was developed, control the roads, and it's been like that till the present day. And that you could argue that benefits Florida because of taxes and all this other stuff. Well, anyway, long story short, DeSantis said, I'm taking that away. He was punitive. He's like, I'm taking that away. You can't do that. Nope. I don't like the way you came down on this issue. No.
And that was solely the reason for him doing it.
Yes.
Petty is what we like to call it in this family.
Well, it's interesting you use the word solely because now we get into the legal, and if there's any lawyers that are watching, you guys let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm off the mark. But here's the problem with that. Corporations are in effect people in a way legally. And the best way I can describe that is, let me give you an analogy. You know, Disney is a big, huge corporation. I know a lot of people don't like Disney, and there are some things not to like about Disney. You had a few huge Florida government. But let's say this was the Unfrumpy Mommy Store, right? The Unfrumpy Mommy Store, LLC. And somebody...
Store will be open soon.
Yes.
Store will be reopened soon, guys. And
somebody saw one of our videos. We've done Black Lives Matter videos. We've done all kind of videos that are opinionated. And maybe it was some local official in Atlanta. And they didn't like what we put in one of our videos. I don't like what they said. I don't like how they came out on that topic. So I'm going to increase their licensing fee by 10% or 20%.
Terrible.
So you can't do that. Even though it's Disney, Disney has the right, like a person would, to voice an opinion about an issue without it being punitive. The government can't come back, right? So let me know in the comments what you think about that. Also, what's funny, and again, without getting too political, Ron DeSantis is a Republican. The Republican Party is supposed to be very pro-business. Like, that's their whole thing. It's like, let businesses run everything, keep it super capitalist. And so they're in effect telling a company what to do. So Bob Iger, who's the current chairman of Disney, is taking his marbles, and he's being petty, like you said, and like, nope. They were going to build like $1 billion office park.
Oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yeah, they were going to build like $1 billion office park development thing here, and they're like, nope, we're going to move it to California and not build it all.
And if you guys have been to Orlando, you know that were it not for the theme parks, Orlando would be 5 dirt roads.
And it was before the theme parks came.
Cows, and maybe a few goats.
Yeah.
That's what
Orlando is Universal and Disney.
Yeah, and I think right now the problem in terms of getting around traffic in Orlando is basically the infrastructure.
Right.
The infrastructure in Orlando, I feel, it's about as backwards as it could get.
And that's saying a lot coming from Atlanta, because Atlanta doesn't, like, we don't have the best rail system. So if we're saying it's bad, it must be bad.
Yeah, it's like they did not put the money, the planning into building roads and bridges and things like that, because they didn't need it.
You basically have I-4 and a bunch of toll roads. And Disney and Universal have gotten really so popular. I think
now there's a need for it. There's a really big need for it. But yeah, let us know you guys' thoughts on that. If you are here in the Orlando area, you live in Florida, what are your thoughts, concerns with DeSantis?
Let me say this too, it's a slippery slope. So regardless of where you fall in the LGBTQIA plus or what have you, Ron DeSantis is also now doing things that are, he's taking away some of the funding for diversity initiatives, right? So now you get into the whole, race thing. So it's a slippery slope. If he's going against companies that speak on gay rights, then next he's going against companies that speak on African American rights or civil rights. So it's a slippery slope, in my opinion. But let me know. I could be wrong. I'm usually not. So the next issue, a much lighter topic. That last one was heavy. This one I'm coming out against Disney. Okay, so the first one I was pro Disney. This one I'm against Disney. What did Disney just close here in Orlando?
Well, first of all, let's just say this. Disney, to start, puts up a hotel every 5 months, it seems, or they're adding on to their hotels.
Can we get a new theme park, please?
We need another theme park. We need I would say more restaurants inside of some of the theme parks, because right now, guys, the theme parks are uber crowded. But what Disney seems to be doing is taking their money and building more hotels. But yeah, so speaking of hotels, how long has it been open? Maybe a year?
Maybe a year.
The
Galactic Star Cruise. The Star Wars themed hotel. It's not really a hotel, it's an experience.
It's an experience. So this experience gave guests a 2-night experience in a 100-room hotel to the tune of,
I know, like, per
couple,
it would be like $6,000 for us, I think, roughly.
Yeah.
For basically maybe a 3-night, 2-day stay. It's a very, very short stay.
And it's not because that's all you want to do in terms of stay. You are only allotted.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
What is it, 2 days, 3 nights? I don't even think it's 3 nights. I think it's 2 nights.
Might be.
I think it's 2 nights. I could be wrong, give or take a couple of hours.
Right.
But you can't go to this experience, this hotel, and stay a week.
No.
That was it. It's capped at about 2 nights, I believe it is.
Yeah.
But like Eric said, for the 2 of us to go, it would be $6,000.
Yeah.
Now, it was complete if you are into Star Wars with the characters.
Well, I'm gonna address that. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna address that. Go ahead.
You had characters, you had entertainment. I think Kylo Ren, they put on a whole, it was a big deal.
It is what Disney does best. It was very well themed. They had all
even
the
right down
stuff.
to the food.
Yeah.
And you can imagine what the rooms looked like.
It was amazing.
Looked like it was just amazing. You even had a shuttle that took you over to Hollywood Studios and dropped you off in that particular land.
And the shuttle was themed like a spaceship.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Spaceship.
But they closed it.
And here's my opinion why. You just said something really important. You said if you're really into Star Wars. Okay. Look, I won't say I'm really into Star Wars. Like I'm not like a super fan. I don't go to conventions. But here's the thing. I am a child of the 70s, meaning at about the time I was probably in elementary school is when the first Star Wars trilogy came out. So I had all the Star Wars toys, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, X-Wing fighters. Like I know the Star Wars mythology. Chewbacca. I've seen all the Star Wars.
Is it Chewbacca or
Chewbacca? R2-D2, Han Solo. The first 3 were the best, but I've seen all of them. But my point is, I am the ideal demographic for that hotel. I feel like from an income level. Look, we've spent that on a vacation. Now I will say we haven't spent it on that short a vacation, but we spent that amount of money on a vacation.
Well,
I'm the right age. I'm into Star Wars. I know Disney.
Yeah.
We played around with it a couple of times. We thought about it. I probably wouldn't do it.
If the dollars, it didn't make any sense. Because what you would effectively have to do is do a split stay.
Yeah.
You'd stay there for the 2 nights you are only allotted, and then you would have to gather up all of your belongings and move to another resort.
I can't make the 6-hour drive or flight to Florida and just stay for 3 days or 2 days or whatever it is and turn around.
Is it a 6-hour flight to Florida?
I'm sorry, 6-hour drive, 7-hour drive, or 1-hour flight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'd have to do a split
stay. But guys, the sad part about it is they were open maybe a year.
Yeah.
That hotel, that experience was only in the works for just about a year, and they have closed.
They say they spent like $1 billion, which is hard for me to fathom, but maybe. But you said something interesting, and y'all might not know what this means. Split stay basically means when you stay at one hotel, and a lot of this happens in Orlando, and you might stay at one hotel for a week or a couple of days, and then you go to another hotel. We've only done that once, or maybe twice in our history of coming to Atlanta or Orlando.
Yeah, I think about 2 or 3 times.
So basically what we'd have had, for example, what we would have to do, if we did the Star Wars experience, we'd have to do that for 2 or 3 days and come somewhere like Margaritaville and do another 3 or 4 or 5 days to do everything else we wanted to do.
Yeah.
You at that point you probably about at $9,000-$10,000 for the whole vacation.
For a trip to Orlando?
For a trip to Orlando. I can
think
go
not.
there. And they're going after
those prices are reserved for a flight out of the country.
That's Paris, Dubai, Africa, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the whole Disney business strategy, when they came out with this, all the business people were saying, well, they're trying to get the upper income folks, upper middle class, rich people. But again, the problem with that is, well, if I'm upper income or upper middle class and $10,000, I'm looking at, I can go to Dubai, I can go to Paris, I can go to Italy, I can go to Ghana, I can go to Australia, I can take us one of these real nice cruise, heck, a Disney cruise for $10K. So
So we have several theories about why the Star Cruiser hotel experience has now closed, right? I think the one that is most strong is the fact that it was just too expensive. It was just too expensive.
Especially for the time.
It was just too expensive. Now, there are many people in our little Disney community who would love to have been able to visit.
Oh, I love it.
But it just didn't make sense fiscally. So we felt that, and there's several people within the community who feel that Disney has done just a grave disservice in closing it. But then how do they keep it open?
Can they afford
100 rooms?
Yeah, it's the operational
How do you keep
cost.
that open?
Yeah.
And so that's why it closed. That's
Yeah,
why
they
closed.
built it. I don't know who did the marketing research on this. And like you said, I think it's not the theming. I don't even think it's the experience. You're right. I'm glad you summarized it. It is just the cost and the
cost
time
of it. And so we were kicking around the idea of, you know, maybe somehow let it be, theme it as maybe a museum or something, like a walkthrough over into
like
Hollywood Studios. But then we've kind of happened upon it. It's like in the middle of almost nowhere, like in a parking lot.
In the back lot of Hollywood Studios,
because if you've seen it, then you know you really for this particular hotel or experience, you don't really get to come outside.
Yeah, it's just a concrete building.
Yeah, for the
time. You don't have any windows.
Yeah, for the time that you're in it, you're inside. There are no windows or anything.
All the windows are screens that simulate space.
Right.
Outer space.
Right.
So there aren't any open windows.
So they just put it in what looked like a parking lot.
Yeah, it's like a bunker in a parking lot.
Yeah. So it's like, nope, they can't even really theme it where you be in there as a museum and then kind of walk out into Hollywood Studios, because then it's going to cost more money. And like you said, it's rumored they've spent upwards of $1 billion on just all the theming around it. So
I wish they could kind of make it. They had been talking about a Star Wars resort for years, and I would have themed it like one of the all-star Art of Animation.
Art of Animation would have been
with a lot of the big sculptures and stuff like that. But I guess they're going after the money.
Yeah. So if you guys know anything about this particular hotel or experience, if you've done it, drop down, leave a comment, let us know what you guys would suggest Disney do with the structure now. Would you have gone a different route in the beginning, like Eric said, maybe kind of based it on some of the value resorts that they have right now, like let's say in Art of Animation? If you've ever been to Art of Animation, then you know that there's the Little Mermaid, there is Nemo, Cars,
and Lion King,
and they have just these really big lifelike structures out there that kind of simulate or emulate the characters from the movies and the shows. It's a beautiful resort. It's gorgeous. And I think Eric and I both are in agreement in that Disney dropped the ball on that, because can you imagine if you got, what is the Millennium Falcon,
X-Wing Fighter,
ridiculous,
the Death Star, all of those things. Yeah, they could have really done something with it, but it's all about the money. They wanted that hype. But here's the thing, Walt Disney, and a lot of people that are really into Disney are not happy about this. This whole thing was, and we used to talk about this when we talked about, you know, our Disney on the Dime channel. There's supposed to be price points for everybody, and Disney is really pricing
pricing people out,
and they're continuing to do that
with that one. They really did. They really did. But anyway, guys, as you can see, we're in the vehicle, we're all booked and we're all checked in, but we wanted to, before we got busy today, stop in here, bring this topic to you guys. Hope you found it interesting. I know a lot of you are what do I want to call you guys? Just very thoughtful thinkers. So I know you guys will appreciate this conversation, but do drop down, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts in it. All right, tomorrow there will be another video, more vlog style video of us you know, getting Chase ready for the program, out and about here in Orlando. And so with that, really appreciate you guys stopping in, and we will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.